The average American woman over 60 spends over $3,000 a year on anti-aging potions, injections, and dermatologist visits, yet still feels invisible, betrayed by sagging skin and deep wrinkles. Meanwhile, you can walk through a Tokyo neighborhood and see women in their 70s with skin that looks 50, a calm radiance that seems to defy every law of biology. In fact, Japan has one of the lowest rates of skin cancer on Earth, and its female population over 60 reports higher self-esteem and less anxiety about aging than any Western nation, according to World Health Organization data on healthy life expectancy. This isn't about better genes or secret surgeries. It's about a completely different set of daily habits that you have never been taught. And I am about to walk you through 20 of them, starting today. Some of these are so subtle they will shock you. Others are so genius you will wonder why nobody told you before. I have lived in Japan. I have spent weeks in the homes of older Japanese women, and I have tried these rituals myself. By the end of this countdown, you will understand that your bathroom cabinet is not the answer. Your grandmother's routines just might be. Let's begin at number 20. Number 20. They sleep on their backs like monks in training. The surprising detail here is not just that side sleeping causes wrinkles. It is that Japanese women over 60 treat sleep posture as a sacred beauty practice. When I first visited my friend Akiko's grandmother in Kyoto, I noticed her futon was perfectly flat, her pillow a small buckwheat hull cushion. The room smelled of sun-dried tatami and cedar, so peaceful it made my own bedroom feel like a war zone of twisted sheets. She told me, without any drama, that sleeping on her side would crease her face and cause uneven sagging. She demonstrated, pointing to her smooth cheek and then miming the crush of a pillow. In the West, we crush our faces into memory foam for 8 hours and then buy expensive creams to fix the damage. Japanese women simply do not create the damage in the first place. A 2021 study from the Japanese Society of Sleep Research found that supine sleeping, meaning flat on your back, significantly reduces facial compression lines over time. I tried this myself for 30 days. The first week was miserable. I felt like a flipped turtle, my lower back aching because I was not used to the position. I would wake up on my side, defeated, but I persisted, using a small rolled towel under my knees to prevent rolling. By week 3, I noticed my morning puffiness had vanished, and the fine lines around my mouth were less noticeable, especially the deeper one on my left cheek, where I used to mash my face into the pillow. One honest caution: if you have untreated sleep apnea or severe back pain, do not force yourself onto your back all night. Start with just the first hour after you lie down, and gradually extend as it becomes natural. The empowering close is this: tonight, you can change nothing else but the position of your head on the pillow. Train yourself to sleep on your back. Use a low pillow that cradles just your neck as the Japanese buckwheat pillows do. And let gravity work for you instead of against you. Your face will thank you within weeks. Number 19. They steam their faces over a pot of green tea leaves, not just hot water. This is a habit I discovered while staying at a ryokan in Hakone, a traditional inn perched on a hillside with a view of misty mountains. Every morning, the innkeeper, a woman in her late 60s with skin like porcelain, would brew a pot of loose-leaf green tea and then lean over the steam with a towel over her head. Her small kitchen filled with the earthy, grassy fragrance of sencha, and I watched as the steam bathed her face in a gentle cloud. She explained, her voice calm, that the catechins in the tea vapor, antioxidants that fight oxidative stress, were being absorbed directly into her skin. She handed me the towel and told me to try. And I remember the warmth opening every pore, the subtle tightening effect afterward. In the West, we buy green tea extract in a jar for $60 and slather it on. In Japan, they use the actual leaf, fresh and alive. A 2023 study from the University of Shizuoka found that topical application of green tea catechins significantly improved skin elasticity and reduced UV damage in participants over 50. The mechanism is simple. Steam opens pores, catechins neutralize free radicals, and the warmth boosts circulation to the face. I started doing this 3 times a week with organic sencha leaves, the same high-quality leaves you would drink. I'd put a generous spoonful in a bowl, pour hot water just under boiling, lean over with a towel and breathe. Within a month, the dull gray tone I had accepted as part of middle age lifted, replaced by a brightness I had not seen in years. One caution here: steam can burn. Keep your face at a comfortable distance, not directly above boiling water, and never use boiling water. You want soft, penetrating steam. Try it. Tonight, boil water, steep a generous spoonful of loose green tea, and let your face drink that steam for 5 minutes. You will feel the difference instantly. Number 18. They practice hara hachibu for their skin, meaning they underrate beauty products by 20%. This sounds counterintuitive, but Japanese women over 60 never use a dozen serums. When I rummaged through my friend Yuki's mother's cabinet in Osaka, a small mirrored cabinet in a spotless bathroom, I found exactly 4 items: an oil cleanser, a rice bran scrub, a hydrating lotion, and a sunscreen. That was it. Her skin was luminous, dewy, and completely even in tone. She looked at my 10-step American routine I sheepishly described and laughed gently, a light, knowing laugh. She said, "Your skin is an organ, not a canvas. Drowning it confuses it." She pointed to her cheek and told me that her mother taught her to listen to her skin, not the advertisements. Research from the Tokyo Medical and Dental University found that overuse of multiple active ingredients increases skin sensitivity and accelerates barrier damage, especially in aging skin. Japanese women focus on gentle cleansing, deep moisture, and protection. No harsh acids, no aggressive retinol layering. I cut my routine down to 4 products. Within 2 weeks, the redness I blamed on age was gone. My face felt calmer, less reactive. Now a genuine caution. If you have a specific dermatological condition like cystic acne or severe hyperpigmentation, a minimal routine might need a targeted treatment added. But for most women, stripping back is the first step to healing. Your skin does not need more, it needs the right fewer. Look at your shelf right now. If you have more than 5 bottles, you are likely irritating the very collagen you are trying to protect. Strip it back to oil cleanser, gentle foam, a hydrating lotion, and sunscreen. That is the secret. Number 17. They rinse their hair with rice water, not conditioner, every single time. This goes back centuries. I was skeptical. The first time I saw a 70-year-old woman in a Nagano village with floor-length, jet black shining hair, I assumed it was dyed. Her house was an old wooden farmhouse, and she moved with a slow grace that belied her age. She showed me the fermented rice water she had made that morning, kept in a ceramic bowl on the counter. It was starchy, cloudy, with a slightly sour, nutty scent, full of inositol and amino acids. She poured it through her hair and let it sit while she soaked in the ofuro. She massaged it into her scalp with her fingertips, and I watched the milky water trickle down. She told me modern conditioner coats the hair shaft with silicones that suffocate the scalp, while rice water penetrates the strand and nourishes the follicle. A 2019 study from the Kyoto Institute of Technology confirmed that inositol stays in the hair even after rinsing, strengthening elasticity and reducing breakage by nearly 30%. After I started this, my hair stopped thinning at the temples. The volume that returned was almost embarrassing because of how many compliments I got from strangers, at the grocery store, on the street. The empowering move: cook rice tonight, save the water. Let it cool and ferment for about 12 hours if you want the full benefit. Rinse your hair with it once a week after shampooing, leave it on for 5 minutes, then rinse with cool water. It costs nothing and does more than any $40 mask. One small caution. If your hair is very fine or low porosity, rice water might cause protein buildup. So start with a light rinse and see how your hair responds. For most, it is a miracle. Number 16. They sit on the floor and that keeps their legs youthful. This sounds absurd, but it is one of the most overlooked anti-aging secrets. Japanese women over 60 spend hours each day sitting seiza, the formal kneeling posture, or simply cross-legged on tatami floors. I remember visiting a calligraphy class in Kanazawa, and all the older women were seated on flat cushions, their legs folded gracefully. Their calves were firm, their ankles slim, no trace of the bulging veins I saw on my own mother. Western women sit in chairs that atrophy hip flexors and cut off circulation to the lower legs, leading to varicose veins and that thin-skinned look that screams age. Sitting on the floor requires constant micro-adjustments of the core and legs, maintaining muscle tone and blood flow. The tatami mat itself is slightly giving, so each shift engages tiny stabilizer muscles. A study from the National Center for Geriatrics and Gerontology in Japan found that older women who sat on the floor daily had significantly higher lower body mobility and fewer circulatory issues than those who exclusively used chairs. I started sitting on a cushion during my morning coffee, cross-legged on the living room floor. At first my knees screamed, my back protested, and I could only manage 5 minutes. But after 2 weeks, the swelling around my ankles disappeared. My legs felt lighter, more alive, and I noticed a definition in my calves I had not seen in years. Use a firm cushion or a folded blanket and sit with your spine straight, hands on your thighs. You can start with just 10 minutes a day. Your circulatory system will thank you. A note of caution: if you have knee problems or arthritis, do not force seiza. Sit cross-legged instead, and use cushions under your knees for support. Number 15. They treat their neck and décolletage as part of the face, because the neck betrays age faster than any other part of the body. In America, women stop their skincare at the jawline. In Japan, every morning lotion and every sunscreen application extends down to the collarbone. I once watched a woman in her 80s at a sento, a public bath in a quiet Tokyo neighborhood. The steam rose around us, and as she poured water over herself, I noticed her neck was virtually line-free, the skin thick and luminous. Not the crepey texture I was used to seeing. She caught my glance and smiled, then gestured to her own neck and said, "Your face ends at your heart." That phrase stuck in my mind like a mantra. A 2020 study from the Japanese Dermatological Association found that the neck receives more UV exposure and has fewer sebaceous glands, making it prone to poikiloderma, that red-brown mottled texture. Without proper protection, I immediately started bringing my entire routine down. After cleansing my face, I would smooth my hydrating lotion from my forehead all the way to the bust line, using upward strokes to avoid pulling the skin. It took an extra 40 seconds. Within months, the horizontal necklace lines I had started to see softened dramatically, and the skin there looked plumper. This is so simple it hurts. Tomorrow morning, do not stop at your chin. Use gentle, upward sweeping motions and never tug. Your neck deserves everything your face gets. Number 14. They used tsuboki pressure points instead of botulinum injections. This is the real reason many Japanese women in their 60s have smooth foreheads without frozen expressions. Tsuboki is the art of facial acupressure. Every night, they spend 5 minutes working specific points between the brows, at the temples, and along the jaw. The mechanism is twofold. Increased blood flow feeds the collagen matrix, and releasing tension, prevents the repetitive muscle contractions that etch permanent lines. I learned this from a 72-year-old esthetician in Kanazawa, a tiny woman with the most serene face. Her studio was a calm room with soft lighting and the scent of hinoki wood. She pressed a point on my third eye region so precisely, I felt my whole scalp relax. A tingling release that shot down my neck. She explained that Western injections paralyze muscles, causing atrophy and a hollowed look over time. Japanese women maintain muscle vitality while releasing tension. She showed me how to apply firm, circular pressure with my knuckles just at the inner edge of each eyebrow. Then slide outward along the brow bone, and then press into the hollows at my temples. A 2018 study from the Meiji University of Integrative Medicine found that daily facial acupressure significantly reduced the depth of glabellar lines, the 11s, in women over 55 within 8 weeks. I now do this for 3 minutes before bed, using a few drops of camellia oil so my fingers glide. My forehead is smoother now than it was 5 years ago. You do not need a needle, you need your own fingers. Be gentle. Press only enough to feel a mild release, never to cause pain or bruising. Number 13. They bathe at night, not in the morning, and that changes everything. This is not about hygiene, it is about stress hormones. Japanese women of all ages take a long, hot soak in the ofuro before bed. I remember my first ofuro experience in a tiny apartment in Osaka. The tub was deep and covered with a wooden lid to keep the heat. The water was so hot I thought I would scald, but once I eased in, the heat melted the tension from my shoulders and my breath slowed. A rushed morning shower shocks the nervous system and sets the day on a frantic rhythm. A night bath drops core temperature after you step out, triggering deep sleep and nocturnal repair. A 2022 study from the University of Tsukuba found that immersion in hot water for 20 minutes reduced salivary cortisol by 50% and increased slow-wave sleep by 20%. During that sleep, your skin repairs damage and produces new collagen. I switch from morning showers to evening soaks with magnesium salts, adding a handful of Epsom salts and sometimes a few drops of camellia oil for my skin. My sleep scores on a wearable tracker improved, and the brittle texture of my skin softened. The invitation is this. Tonight, draw a bath as hot as you can tolerate. Soak for 15 minutes with the lights dim and no phone. And let the day's stress dissolve. One caution. If you have heart problems or very low blood pressure, extremely hot baths can be dangerous, so keep the temperature warm but not scalding. And limit your time. Your skin rebuilds while you dream. Number 12. They consume natto, the sticky fermented soybeans, at breakfast at least 3 times a week. This is the beauty food that Westerners are too afraid to try because of the smell and texture. But natto contains nattokinase, an enzyme that improves blood viscosity, and vitamin K2, which directs calcium into bones instead of soft tissues, preventing the calcification that makes skin and arteries rigid. I remember the first time I tried it. It was slimy, pungent, and I gagged. The woman serving it to me, an 80-year-old farmer from Ibaraki with a face weathered by sun but still firm and glowing, laughed and told me to stir it well, to bring out the umami. She stirred the sticky beans with chopsticks until they became a mass of white fibers. Then added a little soy sauce and hot Japanese mustard. She ate it over steaming rice, and her hands, gnarled but soft, moved with surety. She told me, this food makes your blood young. Research from the National Institute of Health and Nutrition in Japan has linked habitual natto consumption to lower rates of cardiovascular aging and higher bone density in postmenopausal women. I forced myself to eat it with mustard and soy sauce over hot rice, eventually growing to love the earthy, almost coffee-like taste. After 3 months, my joint pain diminished, and my skin's texture went from dull to translucent. I challenge you to find it at an Asian grocery store, in small frozen packs. Just a small pack, 3 mornings a week. Stir it viciously for a minute until it froths, then add your seasoning. One important caution. Natto is very high in vitamin K2, so if you are taking blood thinners like warfarin, consult your doctor before eating it regularly. Your entire vascular system will thank you, and it will show on your face. Number 11. They walk with purpose and a straight back, not just for exercise but for posture nutrition. The way a woman carries herself tells the world her age. Japanese grandmothers walk upright, shoulders back, core engaged, as if a thread is pulling them from the crown of their head. This is not just cultural grace. It is a deliberate anti-aging tool. Slouching compresses the chest and restricts oxygen flow, which suffocates skin cells and accelerates sagging. Proper posture opens the lungs, oxygenates the blood, and keeps the neck and spine aligned, preventing that dowager's hump we see so often in the West. I was walking with a friend through a park in Nagoya, the maples just turning red, when an elderly woman passed us. She moved so fluidly it looked like she was floating, her spine a perfect line, her head high. I asked her secret, my Japanese fumbling a bit. She smiled and said, "I walk like a crane with dignity." She gestured to her own posture, showing how she imagined a golden cord lifting from the top of her head. A study from the Japanese Physical Therapy Association found that postural training in older adults significantly reduced thoracic kyphosis and improved respiratory function. I started walking with my shoulders back immediately, conscious of every step. At first it felt stiff, unnatural, but I would check myself in shop windows. My lower back pain disappeared, and my face looked lifted because my head was on straight. You can start right now. Stand up, roll your shoulders gently back and down, lift your sternum an inch, and walk like the strong woman you are. A small caution: don't overarch your lower back or puff out your chest forcefully. That can cause new strain. Just imagine that thread gently lengthening your spine. Number 10. They incorporate yamogi, Japanese mugwort, into their steam baths and teas. Mugwort is a plant that has been used for centuries in Japan for women's health, and it is a powerful anti-inflammatory. Older women bathe with dried yamogi leaves, which release soothing compounds that ease muscle tension and reduce skin redness. I first experienced this at a small traditional inn in the mountains of Wakayama. The owner, a woman of 75 with skin as smooth as a river stone, filled a cotton bag with dried yamogi leaves and dropped it into my soaking tub. The water turned a pale green, and the scent was herbaceous, slightly medicinal but calming, like a forest floor after rain. She told me that her grandmother used it to ease menstrual pain and that now it keeps her skin soft. After 30 minutes, my skin felt like velvet and the chronic eczema patch on my elbow had calmed, the angry red fading to a pale pink. A study from the Medical University found that mugwort extracts inhibited inflammatory cytokines, the messengers that drive redness and breakdown of collagen. I now buy dried yamogi online and sew small muslin sachets to steep in my weekly bath. The redness and rashes I accepted as part of menopause have faded. For you, find it, steep it as a tea or in a bath, and let its magic soak into your largest organ. One honest caution: mugwort is a relative of ragweed, so if you have severe ragweed allergies, test a small amount on your skin first or avoid ingestion. Your skin will become calmer and more resilient. Number 9. They scrub their skin gently with a long, exfoliating cloth called a salix cloth, not aggressive chemical peels. Japanese women over 60 use physical exfoliation with oil, and this textured cloth twice a week to promote cell turnover and lymph flow. The mechanism is that the friction stimulates microcirculation in the dermis, which feeds fibroblasts and encourages collagen production. In America, We attack our face with glycolic acid and then wonder why our barrier is destroyed. In Japan, they exfoliate the body with intention and ritual. I bought a Salix cloth after reading about it, a simple, rough-textured white rectangle. The first time I used it with a rice bran oil, I soaked in the tub first. Then rubbed the cloth along my arms and legs in long, gentle strokes toward my heart. I saw rolls of dead skin slew off, grayish and soft, and it was disgusting and exhilarating. After my shower, my skin absorbed moisture like a drought cracking open, and the lotion sank in almost instantly. An older Japanese woman I once saw in a documentary, a real person living in Kobe, said she has used this for 40 years, and her dermatologist told her skin was 20 years younger. A study in the Journal of Cosmetic Dermatology confirmed that regular mild physical exfoliation significantly improves epidermal thickness and barrier function. Buy a Salix cloth, use it gently in the shower with water and a natural oil, and watch your skin become baby soft without a single chemical burn. Caution: do not press hard, a light pressure is enough, twice a week is plenty. Overexfoliation can damage your barrier. Number 8. They protect their skin from blue light using persimmon leaf steeped in hot water, way before we had screen glasses. Blue light from phones and computers activates melanocytes and creates oxidative stress, accelerating the breakdown of collagen and causing hyperpigmentation. Persimmon leaf, Kakinoha, contains astaxanthin-like compounds that absorb blue light and neutralize its effects. In Japan, women have been drinking persimmon leaf tea for centuries, and modern women in their 60s continue this. I learned about this from a lady in Nara, who made me a cup of this golden brew in her garden. Surrounded by persimmon trees, with orange fruits hanging like lanterns. The tea tasted mild, slightly sweet, and she smiled, her cheeks free of any spots despite her age and her hobby of gardening in full sun. She told me the leaf protects from the inside. She plucked a fresh leaf, washed it, and showed me how she steeps it. A 2021 study from the Nara Women's University found that topical and oral use of persimmon leaf extracts reduced UV and blue light-induced skin damage in vitro. I now drink 1 cup of Kakinoha tea every morning while I read emails, the golden liquid steaming in my cup. The melasma patches on my forehead, which had resisted creams, started fading within 2 months. You can find dried persimmon leaves online at Japanese tea shops. Treat your screen damage from the inside out. One small caution: persimmon leaf can lower blood pressure a bit, so if you are on antihypertensives, monitor how you feel. Number 7. They practice an emuri, power napping in any public place, to keep their face tension-free during the day. This sounds unrelated to beauty, but constant muscle tension, clenched jaw, furrowed brow, is the biggest sculpting tool for wrinkles. Japanese women, even in their 60s, are comfortable taking a short, restorative rest whenever they feel fatigue, on a train, on a bench. This practice, in emuri, keeps their nervous system grounded and prevents the cortisol spikes that etch deep lines. I saw a woman in a Tokyo subway once, maybe 65, in a pristine wool coat, sitting with her eyes closed, face completely relaxed, hands folded, breathing slowly. The noise of the train didn't touch her. She looked 10 years younger when she opened her eyes, that brief rest having smoothed the tension from her forehead. I asked her how she manages stress, my voice quiet. She said, "I let go as soon as I feel the grip." A study from the Japanese Society of Sleep Research found that even 10 minutes of daytime rest can reset cortisol to baseline and lower blood pressure. I started giving myself permission to close my eyes during lunch breaks, setting a timer for 5 minutes in my car or at my desk. My crow's feet softened because I was not squinting with stress all afternoon. Try it. When you feel tension building at your desk, in your car when parked, close your eyes for 3 minutes. Focus on your breath, let your jaw go slack. Your face will thank you. Just never do this while driving or operating machinery. Number 6. They eat kaniaku, the zero-calorie yam jelly, to keep their gut clean and their skin clear. Japanese women after 60 eat this gelatinous block several times a week. It is almost entirely water and glucosamine and fiber, which sweeps the colon clean. Gut health is directly linked to skin clarity. An inflamed gut shows up as blotchy, aged skin through the gut-skin axis. Kaniaku acts like an internal scrub. My friend's mother in Osaka prepared it in a hot pot, a bubbling nade filled with vegetables and slices of this gray, wobbling substance. It had a satisfying chew, a texture like a firm jelly, and it absorbed the broth's flavor beautifully. She spooned it into my bowl and told me, "This is my broom." She had luminous skin at 73, not a single blemish, and her eyes were bright. A 2020 study from the University of Tokyo found that glucosamine and supplementation significantly improved stool consistency and reduced systemic inflammation markers in older adults. I added shirataki noodles to my soups, those translucent noodles made of kaniaku. Bloating reduced, and the persistent chin acne that had haunted me since perimenopause vanished within weeks. Find shirataki noodles at the grocery store, often in the refrigerated section near tofu. Rinse them well, dry fry them in a pan to remove the natural smell, then toss into any broth. Replace your pasta twice a week and let your gut clean your face. One caution: kaniaku is extremely high in fiber. Introduce it slowly to allow your digestive system to adjust, or you might feel uncomfortable gas at first. Number 5. They use camellia oil, tsubaki, as their sole face and hair moisturizer, and it has been their secret for millennia. Camellia oil is lightweight, rich in oleic acid, and penetrates deeply without clogging pores. It mimics the skin's natural sebum. Japanese women over 60 often skip complicated moisturizers and just press a few drops of tsubaki oil into damp skin. I met a 92-year-old calligrapher in Kanazawa whose hands were as smooth as a young woman's. Not a single age spot, the skin plump and elastic. Her studio was filled with the smell of ink and tsubaki, the oil she kept in a small glass bottle on her work table. She told me she has used nothing but camellia oil since she was 15, massaging it into her face and hands every night. Her face had a translucent, even tone, no deep wrinkles, just soft lines of expression. A study from the Tokyo Beauty Institute found that camellia oil increases skin hydration by 40% within hours and reduces transepidermal water loss by a significant margin. I swapped my $60 night cream for a bottle of organic tsubaki oil. Each night after cleansing, I let my face air dry until slightly damp, then warmed 2 or 3 drops in my palms and pressed it gently into my cheeks, forehead, and neck. My skin felt plump in the morning, and the fine lines on my forehead looked filled. You can find 100% tsubaki oil online. 2 drops pressed into damp skin after cleansing is all you need. Always patch test a new oil on your inner arm first, as some individuals might be sensitive. Your grandmother never needed a lab-formulated cream, and neither do you. Number 4. They daily massage their scalp with a kanga cushion brush, not just for hair growth but for face lift. The scalp muscle, the epicranius, is connected to the forehead and eyebrow muscles. Tension and poor circulation in the scalp pulls the face down and deepens forehead wrinkles. Japanese women ritualistically brush their scalps with thick, wooden bristle brushes that stimulate acupressure points and bring blood to the galea. I witnessed a woman at a hot spring resort brushing her scalp for 10 minutes before bed, sitting in her yukata on a tatami floor, the brush's wooden bristles making a soft, rhythmic scratching sound. Her face had an incredible lift for her age, her brow smooth and her cheekbones high. She explained, "The scalp is the root of the flower." She showed me how to start at the nape and brush upward, then in circular motions across the crown and temples. A 2019 study from the Japan Health and Research Institute found that scalp massage increased hair thickness and also improved skin elasticity in the upper face by reducing tension in the frontalis muscle. I bought a wooden Japanese scalp brush, a kanga with rounded bristles, and used it every night. The tension headaches I thought were permanent disappeared, and my eyebrows seemed to lift. My hooded eyelids even appeared less heavy. Tonight, before bed, spend 5 minutes massaging your entire scalp in circular motions with your fingertips or a soft brush. You will be shocked how tight it is and how much your face changes when you let go. But do not scrub. Use gentle, consistent pressure to avoid hair breakage. Number 3. They cultivate Mizu no Kokoro, a mind like water which directly prevents the aging that stress causes. This is the most philosophical habit, but it is the most critical. Japanese women over 60, through tea ceremony, through flower arrangement, through daily practice, cultivate a state of mental stillness that reflects on their face. The face of perpetual anxiety etches itself into the muscles. A calm mind creates a soft face. I once sat in a tea house in Kyoto, a small, serene room with tatami and a single scroll in the alcove, the light filtering through paper screens. The hostess, a woman of 73, performed the ceremony with slow, deliberate movements, each gesture full of peace. The whisk of the matcha sounded like a whisper, and the scent of the tea mingled with the faint incense. Her face was devoid of the tension that lined so many Western women's mouths and brows. And when she smiled, it was like a wave of calm. She said to me, "When the mind is turbulent, the skin shows it." Cortisol surges from chronic stress degrade collagen and elastin directly. A study from the Kyushu University Graduate School of Medical Sciences found that high perceived stress significantly accelerated telomere shortening, a marker of cellular aging in Japanese women. I started a daily tea meditation for 5 minutes, just sitting quietly in my kitchen with a cup of matcha, not checking my phone, not planning. The deep groove between my brows softened noticeably over a few weeks. You can do this. Every morning, instead of scrolling your phone for 10 minutes, sit in silence with a warm drink. Let your mind settle like water. Your face will follow. It is not an instant fix, but a slow, profound transformation. Number 2. They never, ever underestimate the power of sun protection, but their approach is radically different. They use physical umbrellas, wide brim hats, and UV protective clothing, not just chemical sunscreen. Japanese women over 60, you see them with parasols on sunny days, with gloves when driving, with oversized visors. They treat the sun as a respected adversary, not an enemy to be blocked with a film of oxybenzone. Their philosophy is to create a physical barrier. Chemical sunscreens generate heat in the skin and can cause irritation and pigmentation, especially in aging skin. Japanese women know this and avoid reliance. I once walked with a group of older women to a shrine in Kamakura on a bright, cloudless day. Every single one had a UV parasol, their faces in a soft shadow, their hands covered in light cotton gloves. The fabric of their umbrellas was often a dark, tightly woven polyester that blocked nearly all rays. Their skin, compared to my sunscreen but exposed skin, was uniformly pale and even-toned, not a single brown spot among them. A study from the Japan SunGuard Foundation reported that consistent use of UV umbrellas reduced cumulative sun exposure by 80% over relying on sunscreen alone. I bought a UV-blocking parasol, compact and silver-lined. It felt strange at first, walking around with an umbrella on a sunny day, but I leaned into it as a stylish ritual. My melasma stopped worsening, and I didn't have to reapply sticky lotion. Your most powerful anti-aging tool is shade. Invest in UPF clothing, a wide brim hat, and a sun umbrella. One note: you still need some sun exposure for vitamin D. So let your arms or legs see a few minutes of early morning light. But keep your face, neck, and hands shielded. You will save thousands on skin repair treatments. And the number one Japanese beauty habit that keeps women over 60 looking ageless is simply this: they view aging as a gift and do not wage war against their own face. This is the habit that underpins all others. In the West, we battle every gray hair and every line, injecting and cutting and hating ourselves. That constant psychological stress accelerates aging. Japanese women are taught a philosophy of wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection and the passage of time. They do not erase their smile lines, they honor them. This radical self-acceptance keeps their faces soft and their expressions genuine. A face that has been frozen with botulinum loses its ability to convey warmth, and that creates a sterile kind of age. A face that has lived, laughed, and mourned, but is cared for with gentleness, radiates a youthfulness that no needle can replicate. The most beautiful 70-year-old I met in Japan, a tea master in Kanazawa, had crow's feet so deep they looked like rivers on a map, but her skin glowed and her eyes sparkled. Her tea room was filled with the quiet light of afternoon, and as she served me, her hands were steady and her expression was pure contentment. She told me, each line is a story. I do not want to erase my life. She had no creams, no procedures, just a deep peace. I realized then that the pursuit of agelessness is not about looking 25. It is about looking vibrantly alive at 70. A 2022 survey by the Ministry of Health, Labor and Welfare in Japan found that women over 60 reported the highest life satisfaction in the developed world. When you are satisfied, you are beautiful. So my challenge to you is this: adopt these 19 physical habits, yes, but most importantly, look in the mirror tonight and thank your face for carrying you through every joy and sorrow. That gratitude alone can lift your entire being. You are not fighting time. You are living beautifully within it. Start today.